Global TV News Express, House of Representatives resolves to subsidize malaria drugs. Army, DSS avert Boko Haram planned attack on Kano in joint raid. Nigerian Armed Forces announced partial traffic disruption for annual 10-kilometer walk jogging exercise. Plus, Lagos closes Eko Bridge for repairs beginning on Saturday. Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV News Express, live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, Aimuyi Agmofwebe. The Senate has passed the 2.18 trillion naira 2023 supplementary appropriation bill forwarded to it for consideration by President Bola Tinubu. As requested by Tinubu in the letter read in the Senate during plenary on Tuesday, the request was given expeditious consideration. Similarly, on Thursday, the Red Chamber expressly approved the budget after the Chairman, Senate Committee on Appropriations, Solomon Adeola, led the report at the Chamber. Report has it that the Committee on Appropriations on Wednesday interfaced with the ministers heading the agencies captured in the supplementary budget. The ministers include David Umahi of Works, Minister of Housing Ahmed Dangiwa, and Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Senator Abubakar Kyari, Minister of State for Defense Bello Metawalle, as well as service chiefs. Following public outcry over the allocation of 5.095 billion naira for the purchase of a presidential yacht in the 2023 supplementary budget, the House of Representatives on Thursday said it had scrapped the budgetary allocation. Chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, Abubakar Bichi, disclosed this in an interview with journalists on Thursday. He said the budgetary allocation for student loans was also increased from 5 to 10 billion naira. He stated that the committee also increased the budgetary allocation of Ministry of Defense from 476 billion naira to 546 billion naira. Bichi also disclosed that the minimum wage for workers was considered and approved for onward transmission to the executive. He promised proper legislative oversight to ensure 100% implementation. In a related development, the House of Representatives has stated its resolve to at least subsidize malaria drugs, if not made free, for all government health centers for citizens. Chairman, House Committee on HIV/AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria Control (ATM), Amobi Oga, stated this at inaugural meeting of the committee on Thursday at the National Assembly. He expressed worry that Nigerians are constantly affected by malaria, yet access to drugs are not readily available, while the ones available are exorbitant. A ghastly motor accident occurred in the afternoon on Thursday at Mpape Junction in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. Lamidi Ibrahim, an eyewitness, said a heavy-duty truck had lost control while speeding down the narrow road. Global TV crew visited the scene of the incident, and here's the report by our correspondent Subura Usman.
Lamidi Ibrahim said about 7 persons had already died, and the last person was still breathing when the rescue team arrived.
The tipper fell break and spoiled up to like 8 or 9 motors, and people dead.
Like how many?
People that are dead, they are more than 6. The one I carry by myself with my people, all these road safety people, they are up to more than 6 that we carry. Only one guy that survived among the 6, and one student joined them. He died also. We later saw this student under the truck in between the inside. The student was inside the keke napep, and the tipper have already waged him. You have matched him already. So the student now, they have taken him away. So there are more than 6 that there, or 7 self. What I want to plead you people is that you should just try to help us. Try to help us in this Pape road. In what way can you help us? Let all these tipper, let them stop moving in the daytime, because the rate of people that tipper is killing on a daily or monthly or weekly basis is too much. So let them stop tipper for afternoon movement. I don't know who they are bribing. This thing should have been stopped since how many years, but they didn't stop them. Tipper should stop working in the afternoon time because Pape is highly populated. I'm not too many Pape road.
The FCT Federal Road Safety Commander Chari Mutara said the number of casualties has not been confirmed, contrary to eyewitness reports.
A lot of people have been taken to hospital, so we cannot be able to quote a particular number to you now. Certainly there are fatalities, but what I can tell you is that a number of vehicles were involved, about 5 vehicles, 1 tipper truck, about 5 keke were involved, and 1 motorcycle. It's brake failure by a tipper vehicle that failed brake uphill, and so it was descending, and so it carried a lot of people along with it.
Residents appealed to relevant authorities to dualize Mpape Road and regulate movement of tanker trucks to reduce incessant accidents on the road.
A POS person that's marketing beside road here. I was there when the incident started and when it happened. Actually, it's a very disastrous accident that a lot of things need to be looked in by government to take measures of a lot of things. Like the way the accident happened, normally they said anytime you see a very big damaged accident like this, it's caused by a new driver who doesn't know the road. Though I heard over the years that there were new unions that were fighting over that if a new driver should take in a car, should always be given to a very to an old tanker driver to bring the car down. The accident happened, he started hitting by 1 Corolla that got sides of the road. Where the person wasn't injured, but the car was damaged. After then, it was an Okada people before it started coming over these Keke Napep people, and finally it landed on top 2 Keke Napep that 2 students from Model Secondary School were in which the tire of the truck lies on the neck of one of the students. It's a very, very disastrous accident that someone could not take a second look. Actually, with government have been trying, but there should be measures taken in, maybe making the road more wide, and then maybe the market should be built in a way that other things should be kept by the roadside that can be reducing the speed of the truck. Maybe if this kind of incident is happening.
I was calling on Nigerian Emergency Management Agency, FCT Emergency Management Agency, Federal Road Safety Commission, Director of Road Traffic Services, that please, people are trapped under this truck, rescue us. I put a call to some of the emergency call rooms of DRTS, FRSC, police and what have you, till I left here after 30 minutes, until I was about leaving before that of the DRTS recovery called that they were on their way.
The Nigerian Air Force has announced a partial restriction of traffic for its annual 10-kilometer walk and jogging exercise on Saturday by 6 a.m. in Abuja and other Air Forces bases across the nation. A statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commander Edward Gabot, said the exercise is aimed at enhancing the physical fitness of its personnel. He said the exercise in Abuja is expected to kick off from Air Force Base Asokoro Football Field to Defense Headquarters roundabouts, down to Kefi Road, Kubo Furniture and Pedestrian Bridge, Army Checkpoint Kubo, and back to base via the Nigerian Air Force Valley Second Gate. The statement says further, during the period, there will be partial restriction of traffic along the routes indicated. Similarly, the exercise in other locations nationwide is expected to cover major routes around Air Force bases and their environs. Let's turn to Nigeria's southwest now, where the Lagos State government has announced that it will be closing the Eko Bridge between Costain and Alaka Descent to carry out emergency repairs. These repairs, they say, are necessary to avoid the complete vandalization and theft of the expansion joints, as well as the replacement of missing parts and the recasting of the transition concrete around the expansion joints. Motorists planning to use the bridge are consequently advised to use the Costain ramp to link Alaka through the Costain roundabout. This was contained in a statement signed by the Lagos State Commissioner for Transportation, Oluwaseun Oshiyemi. The bridge will be closed on Saturday, November 4, 2023 by 4 a.m. and reopened on Monday, November 6, 2023. Let's talk security matters now. Joint troops of the Nigerian Army and the Department of State Services, DSS, have successfully averted an imminent attack on Kano by insurgents. In a dawn raid operation carried out on the terrorist hideout in the early hours of Friday, troops of 3 brigades Nigerian Army, in close cooperation with the Department of State Services (DSS), conducted a coordinated raid operation in Gezawa local government area of Kano State. The operation was aimed at uncovering and apprehending suspected Boko Haram terrorists believed to be planning a major operation in Kano State. As a result, the troops swiftly swung into action and apprehended 2 Boko Haram terrorists who are now in custody. During the operation, the joint troops of the Nigerian Armed Forces and the DSS recovered 5 AK-47 rifles, AK-47 rifle magazines, 1 rocket propeller gun, 5 RPG bombs, 6 hand grenades, 5 pairs of desert camouflage uniforms, 10 pairs of magazine pouches, and some improvised explosive device-making materials. The Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) yesterday said the health condition of its president, Joe Ajaero, is very critical and may be flown abroad for full medical examination after he was seriously beaten, brutalized, and battered by alleged agents of the state, including policemen, on Wednesday in Owerri, Imo State capital. Recall that suspected agents of the state and security operatives had descended on Ajaero alongside other labor leaders, smashing their vehicles, inflicting injuries, and dispossessing handsets, money, ATM cards, among other valuables from labor leaders and others who had gathered at the NLC State Secretariat to begin a scheduled protest over a pending labor issue. Speaking on the health condition of the NLC President, an Assistant General Secretary and Chief of Staff to the NLC President, Chris Oyeka, lamented that his situation had worsened and could hardly talk, saying he almost passed out last night. Minister of Women Affairs, Barrister Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, has called on well-meaning citizens to imbibe the culture of recognizing and rewarding social, physical, and intellectual bravery in children, especially those whose heroic acts impact positively on the lives of the people. The minister's call followed in conferment of scholarship awards of 1 million naira each on 3 Nigerian children in recognition of their social, physical, and intellectual bravery by Duffel Prima Foods Limited on Thursday in her office in Abuja. She said the award is worthy of emulation as it is capable of spurring other children in the country not only into heroic acts but also in developing social consciousness about acceptable norms and values that shape the culture, religious, ethnic, and diversity of the Nigerian people. The Lagos-Ibadan Railway has supported the employment of 20,000 people since the commencement of operation, a document from the Chinese embassy in Abuja revealed. The document that was obtained by newsmen on Thursday noted that the railway, which was undertaken by the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation Nigeria Limited, stands as the first modern double-track standard gauge railway in West Africa. This, it says, serves as a crucial component of the ECOWAS interconnectivity railway network and represents the second phase of Nigeria's railway modernization projects. The National Agency for Food, Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has notified the public that the recalled G Fuel brand energy drinks by T&E Imports and GPAA Trading Co. contains high levels of caffeine. The notification of this product is contained in a public alert issued to newsmen in Abuja on Thursday by NAFDAC Director General Mojushola Adeyeye. She said that the agency was equally notified about the recall of the product by the Netherlands Food Consumer Product Safety Authority and the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. The NAFDAC board said that the consumption of products containing high levels of caffeine could cause headaches, insomnia, irritability, and nervousness. She further stated and cautioned pregnant women not to take these products, adding that the possible health effects of consuming too much caffeine include the risk of miscarriage and a chance of low birth rates. The DG also stated that the affected products have no cautionary statement to limit the number of servings per day, adding that these products are sold online. The Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, PCNGI, on Thursday inaugurated the Abuja CNG Conversion and Training Center to ensure the attainment of sustainable energy future in the country. The center was commissioned at the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology, NITT, under the leadership of its Director General, Bayero Farah. In his remark at the event, Zak Adedeji, the chairman of Presidential CNG Initiative Steering Committee, disclosed that the government spends $6 billion to import petroleum into the country annually, noting that Nigeria can power all vehicles with the gas at a cheaper and one-third of the costs. Adedeji, represented by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Domestic Affairs, Toyin Subere, assured that no monopoly would be created in executing the CNG projects across the country. On his part, Minister of Transportation Seidu Alkali, represented by Cynthia Akideno, Acting Director, Department of Road Transport and Mass Transit Administration in the ministry, said the studies have shown that CNG could earn the federal government over 200 billion naira from every 1 million cars if converted. The minister said the ministry was aggressively involved in the advocacy of engine conversion as an alternative to the removal of fuel subsidy. The chairman of the People's Democratic Party in Jos South local government area of Plateau State, Dong Tari, who was abducted after a party meeting in the council area, has spent 40 days in captivity. Recall that the PDP chairman was abducted on September 23, 2023. Tari was in his car answering a phone call along the Bukuru Expressway in Jos when some unidentified men into Hilux vehicles blocked him around 1 p.m. and forcefully took him away to an unknown destination. You're watching Global TV News Express, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Express returns, CBN says there is sufficient stock of currency notes in circulation. The news continues shortly with details of these and other stories for you. Please do stay with us. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the News Express from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, with Uyi Agumofwebe. Nigeria has sought assistance from the United States government to address critical issues affecting the country's agricultural sector. Vice President of Nigeria, Kashif Shettima, initiated discussions during a meeting with the U.S. Special Envoy for Global Food Security, Kari Fowler, as part of his diplomatic engagements in the United States of America recently. He assured the U.S. Special Envoy for Global Food Security of the Tinubu administration's readiness to collaborate with relevant stakeholders, not only to enhance agricultural productivity in the country, but across Africa. He affirmed that Nigeria would sustain existing relationships with partners in the agricultural sector and nurture the alliance for continuous growth and development. Following the warnings from NIMET, the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, has advised pilots and airline operators to exercise caution over hazardous weather in dry season. This warning was contained in a release by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, on weather, alerting the public on the possibility of deterioration in visibility as a result of observed dust haze propagated into the country from the source region. He said due to strong winds, the dust in suspension is expected to propagate to some states in the northern part of the country, which will further reduce horizontal visibility, especially over Katsina, Kano, Nguru, Jigawa, Potiskum, and Maiduguri in the next 24 hours. The information is intended to alert pilots about the nature of weather associated with dry season in Nigeria, ranging from light to moderate to severe dust haze and sometimes early morning fog, which can occasionally reduce the horizontal visibility below the aerodrome operating minimal. President of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, has declared that the country will grant visa-free travel to Africans to boost free movement of people and trade. This decision positions Rwanda as the latest African nation to adopt such a measure, joining others in the pursuit of a more integrated continent to rival Europe's Schengen zone. The Schengen zone, consisting of 27 European countries, has successfully eliminated the need for passports and various border control measures at their shared borders. Kagame revealed his plans on Thursday during a speech in Kigali, capital of Rwanda. The president emphasized the immense potential of Africa as a unified tourism destination. Currently, the continent heavily depends on tourists from outside Africa, accounting for 60% of its total visitors, according to data from the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. Rwanda is poised to become the latest African nation to eliminate travel restrictions for fellow Africans, following in the footsteps of Gambia, Benin, and Seychelles. Similarly, in a recent development, Kenya's President William Ruto has revealed plans to allow visa-free travel to Kenya for all Africans by December 31. Schools were shut across India's capital on Friday as a noxious grey smog engulfed the mega city and made life a misery for its 30 million inhabitants. Smoke from farmers burning crop stubble, vehicle exhausts, and factory emissions combine every winter to blanket the capital in a deadly haze. On Friday, levels of the most dangerous PM2.5 particles, so tiny they can enter the bloodstream, were almost 35 times the daily maximum recommended by the World Health Organization, WHO, according to monitoring firm IQ Air. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal announced late Thursday that all primary schools would be closed across the capital for at least 2 days. Large areas of Tuscany have been hit by flooding, leaving 5 people dead and several others missing as heavy winds and rain buffeted central Italy. Cars were swept away as the river Bisenzio flooded and people climbed on top to roofs to escape the deluge. 4 hospitals were flooded, people were trapped in their cars in underpasses, and the west coast was lashed by high waves. Storm Sharon has caused more than 12 deaths across Western Europe. The storm reached Tuscany on Thursday night, and regional governor Eugenio Gianni declared a state of emergency as winds reached 140 kilometers per hour. Livorno on the coast and the towns of Prato and Montemolo near Florence were among the worst affected areas. The Montemolo officials said on Friday that 200 mm of rain had fallen since Thursday afternoon, and the Bencezo River burst its banks in 2 places. Let's take a look at business now. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has refuted the alleged report of scarcity of cash at banks, automated teller machines, ATMs, point-of-sale, POS terminals, and among bureaus, the change BDCs in some major cities across Nigeria. This is contained in a statement signed by Director Corporate Communications of the CBN, Issa Abdul Mumin. The statement says that findings reveal that the seeming cash scarcity in some locations is due largely to high volume with withdrawals from the CBN branches by deposit money banks, DMBs, and panic withdrawals by customers from the ATMs. He says that CBN had noted that there is availability of cash for financial transactions, while assuring the public that there is sufficient stock of currency notes of microeconomic and activities in the country. The branches of the CBN across the country are also working to ensure the seamless circulation of cash in their respective states of operation. Members of the public are therefore, the bank says, advised to guard against panic withdrawals, as there is sufficient stock to facilitate economic activities. It's time to take a look at sport now. Real Madrid forward Rodrigo Goes has signed a new contract until 2028, the Spanish club said Thursday. The Brazilian winger has agreed to extend his deal in the same week. His compatriot Vinicius Jr. also signed on at the Santiago Bernabeu until 2027. Rodrigo, 22, has struggled to hit top from this season, but is a key player for Madrid, scoring a brace against Osasuna in May to win Los Blancos their first Copa del Rey trophy since 2014. The attacker agreed to join Madrid in 2018 for 45 million euros from Santos in Brazil, arriving in the Spanish capital in the summer of 2019, a year after Vinicius. Rodrigo has scored 39 goals in 179 appearances for Madrid across all competitions, winning 2 La Liga titles and the Champions League in the 2022, among other silverware. And that's a wrap here on News Express and Global Television. Thank you so very much for watching. Do stay with us for News Cycle later on. I'm Uyi Agumofwebe. See you again.